to two paths. One path is the old you. You talk, you justify. You beg to be understood, and you hand it your power. The other path is the trained you. You breathe, you go quiet, and they feel something they can't fight your control. Because here's the truth nobody told you. The moment you start explaining yourself to someone who doesn't respect you, you've already lost. Not the argument, your peace. So today I'm going to show you how to use silence like a weapon without anger, without drama, without violence, just pure discipline. And once you learn this, people will stop playing with you because they'll realize they can't pull you anymore. They taught you to talk. Most people don't beat you with strength. They beat you with noise. They provoke you, then they sit back and watch you destroy your own dignity with paragraphs, excuses, and emotional speeches. So listen, this is the rule. One who can stay silent controls the room. Not the loud one, not the clever one, the calm one. Today I'm going to show you how to become so disciplined that your silence does what your anger never could. It ends the game. It exposes manipulation. It makes people feel your boundaries without you explaining a single word. And once you learn it, you will never beg to be understood again. To answer quickly, to explain yourself, to defend your choices, your mistakes, your dreams, your pain like you are on trial every day. And because you learned that, you leak your power with your mouth. Listen carefully. Most people think silence is weakness. They think if you don't respond, you're lost. If you don't speak, you have nothing to say. If you stay quiet, you are afraid. That is how noisy minds judge quiet strength. But silence, in the hands of a disciplined person, is not emptiness. Silence is control. Silence is a blade you don't swing randomly. Silence is a door you close, not to hide, but to protect what matters. Because the moment you start explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you have already stepped into their trap. And today, if you take only one thing from this, stop explaining yourself. Not because you are arrogant, because you are awake, because your life is not a debate stage. Your boundaries are not a public vote. Your healing is not a group project. Your decisions are not a court case. Your energy is your currency. And you spend it like a careless person every time you try to convince someone who doesn't respect you. So I will ask you something uncomfortable. Why do you explain yourself so much? Is it because you want to be understood? Or because you want to be approved? Be honest. A person who needs approval is easy to control. Just look disappointed and they will panic. Just raise your eyebrow and they will start defending their existence. Just stay silent for 2 seconds and they will fill the space with anxiety. But a person who is grounded, a person who's trained their mind, they don't move like that. They don't jump when someone whistles. They don't chase people who walk away. They don't argue with disrespect. They don't beg for clarity from confusion. They simply become still. And that stillness is terrifying to people who manipulate with noise. Because noise is their weapon. Drama, gossip, pressure, accusations, fake urgency, this is how they push you to react. Reaction is what they want. A reaction gives them access. A reaction gives them control. A reaction steals your center. So your first training today is simple. Before you speak, pause. Before you explain, breathe. Before you defend, observe. Because the strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who can remain calm while others are burning. Look at your own life. How many times did you say more than you needed? How many times? Did you send a long message trying to be clear, trying to be fair, trying to be nice, when the other person had already decided to misunderstand you? How many times did you prove your innocence to people who were never looking for truth-only power? That is not communication. That is captivity. Let's go deeper. There are different kinds of silence. There is the silence of fear. And there is the silence of mastery. Fear, silence, is when you don't speak because you feel small. Mastery, silence, is when you don't speak because you are strong. Fear, silence shrinks you. Mastery, silence protects you. How do you know the difference? Look inside your body. When you are silent from fear, your chest is tight, your stomach is heavy, your mind is screaming, please like me, please don't leave, Please don't be angry. When you are silent from mastery, your breath is steady, your eyes are clear, your mind is quiet. You are not begging for peace, you are being peace. And the world feels it. This is why silence is dangerous, because silence removes the rope people use to pull you. If they cannot pull your emotions, they cannot pull your actions. If they cannot provoke you, they cannot program you. If they cannot get a reaction, they have no control. And most people around you, listen, do not want the best for you. Not because they are evil, but because your growth makes their excuses louder. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your boundaries reveal their entitlement. Your calm makes their chaos look childish. So they will test you. They will poke you with comments. They will challenge you with sarcasm. They will throw guilt at you. They will call you changed. They will say you think you're better now, and the old you will panic. The old you will start explaining, no, I'm not like that. I didn't mean it. You misunderstood. Let me explain. Let me prove. And in that moment, you hand them the remote control again. But the trained you, the new you, doesn't argue with a label. The new you doesn't chase a misunderstanding. The new you doesn't volunteer your dignity to be questioned. The new you stays silent and lets your lie speak, because silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of self-respect. Let me show you something. When someone accuses you unfairly, there are two battles happening. The battle outside what they said, and the battle inside your ego screaming, fix this, defend yourself. Don't let them think that. Most people lose because they fight the wrong battle. They fight the outside. They try to change the other person's mind. But you cannot control someone else's mind. You can only control your own. So the real training is inside. Can you sit with the discomfort of being misunderstood? Can you tolerate the itch to explain? Can you breathe through the urge to defend? Can you let people be wrong about you without becoming weak? This is advanced discipline, and it is rare. That's why it is power. Because a person who can handle being misunderstood is free. They don't need to perform. They don't need to plead. They don't need to polish their image for everybody. They simply live. Now understand this clearly. Silence does not mean you accept disrespect. Silence means you choose your response with intelligence. Sometimes the best response is one sentence. Sometimes it is walking away. Sometimes it is a boundary. Sometimes it is consequences. But it is never long explanations for people who don't deserve access to your inner world. Your explanations are intimate. Stop giving intimacy to strangers. Stop giving intimacy to critics. Stop giving intimacy to people who don't even understand themselves. You must learn where your words belong. Words are seeds. If you plant them in bad soil, they will not grow. They will rot. And you will stand there wondering why you feel drained. Let's make it practical. There are moments when you must speak. If you made a mistake, own it. If you hurt someone you love, apologize. If you need to communicate, clearly communicate. But there is a difference between clarity and pleading. Clarity is one clean sentence. Pleading is a paragraph of fear. Clarity says, this is what I decided. Pleading says, please accept my decision so I can feel okay. Clarity says, I understand you disagree. Pleading says, I need you to agree. Clarity says, I'm not available for that. Pleading says, let me explain why I'm not available so you don't get upset. Do you see the difference? One comes from strength. The other comes from fear. And fear is expensive. It costs you sleep. It costs you confidence. It costs you peace. So we train a new habit. We replace over-explaining with stillness. Over-explaining is usually a trauma response. Somewhere in your past, you learned that being misunderstood was dangerous. Maybe it meant punishment. Maybe it meant rejection. Maybe it meant being ignored. So your nervous system learned, explain fast, fix it, smooth it, save it. But you are not that child anymore. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. You are allowed to be calm. You are allowed to be simple. You are allowed to let someone be upset without trying to rescue their emotions, because their emotions are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your integrity, your breath, your mind, your direction. Now I want you to imagine something. Someone messages you something rude, or someone says something passive-aggressive, or someone tries to bait you into an argument, and you feel that heat rise. You feel the fingers itching to type. You feel the mouth ready to fire. That is the moment your life changes, because you have a choice. Old you reacts. New you observes. Old you explains. New you stays silent. Old you tries to win. New you refuses the game. And here is a secret. Silence does not just protect you from others. It protects you from yourself. Because you can ruin your own life with one emotional sentence, one angry message, one impulsive voice note. One let me tell you something. And later, when you calm down, you think, why did I say that? Why did I give them that access? Why did I show my weakness? Silence prevents that. Silence buys you time. Time is the space where wisdom lives. Without time, you only have reflex. And reflex is not intelligence, so you train the pause. Pause is a spiritual practice. Pause is discipline in motion. Pause is how you stop being controlled. Now, some of you are thinking, but if I stay silent, people will think they are right. Good, let them. If someone needs to believe a lie about you, they will believe it whether you speak or not. You cannot explain your way out of someone's fantasy. You cannot debate your way out of someone's insecurity. You cannot clarify your way out of someone's jealousy. So stop trying. What matters is not what they think. What matters is what you do, what you become. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you start living for something real. You stop performing for the crowd. You stop bending for comfort. You stop turning your life into a presentation, and you start building. This is why quiet people become dangerous. Not dangerous as in violent, dangerous as in unstoppable. Because their energy is not leaking everywhere. It is collected, focused, directed. When you don't talk too much, you can listen. When you listen, you can learn. When you learn, you can adapt. When you adapt, you win. The world is full of talkers. Few are doers. And the doers rarely need to convince anyone. Their results speak. Now listen, people will test your silence. When you change, they will feel uncomfortable. They will ask questions that are not questions, they are traps. Why are you so quiet? Are you mad? Why are you acting different? What's wrong with you? Those are not questions. Those are attempts to pull you back into the old role. Because your silence is breaking the pattern. Your silence is saying, I don't need to explain my existence. What do? You stay calm. You smile slightly. You say very little. You do not feed the fire. You do not feed the drama. You do not feed their curiosity about your inner world. Because your inner world is sacred. And sacred things are not explained to everyone. There is a reason ancient teachings speak about guarding the mouth, not because words are evil, but because words are powerful. And power must be handled with care. An untrained tongue is like a wild horse. It drags you into conflicts. It pulls you into promises you can't keep. It runs your life into places your heart never wanted. So you become the rider. And the first thing a rider learns is hold the reins. Silence is the reins. Now let me give you a painful truth. If you over-explain, it is often because you don't trust yourself. You want to build a case so no one can challenge you. You want to create a perfect argument so no one can reject you. But confidence is not built by winning arguments. Confidence is built by keeping your word to yourself. Confidence is built by choosing the hard thing and doing it anyway. Confidence is built by acting from values, not emotions. So the real work is not learning how to say the right thing. The real work is becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to say much. Because your presence is enough, your eyes are enough, your posture is enough, your calm is enough, your no is enough. One clean no with silence behind it is stronger than 10 minutes of explaining. Try it. Next time someone pressures you, they say, why not? Tell me why not. And you say, I'm not available. They say, but why? And you pause, and you breathe, and you say, I already answered. Then silence. This will feel uncomfortable at first because you are addicted to being understood. But that addiction is what makes you weak. Understand? You don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to be respected by yourself. Now think of the people you admire, the ones with true calm, the ones with stable energy. Do they over-explain? No. They speak when necessary. They don't narrate their life. They don't sell their boundaries. They don't negotiate their values. They don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding. They simply choose and move. This is the energy you are building. But to build it, you must stop feeding your ego's hunger. Your ego wants to win. Your ego wants to be right. Your ego wants to be seen as good. So it explains. So it defends. So it justifies. But your spirit wants peace. Your spirit wants growth. Your spirit wants truth. So it stays silent and acts. And you must decide which one you will follow. Now another level, silence is also how you see clearly. When you talk too much, you create noise inside. When you create noise inside, you can't hear your intuition. You can't hear warning signs. You can't hear your own needs. You can't hear the subtle disrespect in someone's tone. You can't hear the truth. But when you are quiet, you notice everything. You notice how people treat you when you stop chasing. You notice who disappears when you stop giving. You notice who respects your boundaries. You notice who only loved the version of you that was easy to control. Silence reveals truth. And truth is always uncomfortable at first. That's why people avoid silence. Because in silence you face yourself. In silence you meet your own mind. And most people, they don't like what they hear. So they fill the space with talking, scrolling, explaining, proving, performing, anything to avoid being alone with themselves. But you are training differently. You are training to sit in stillness, to watch thoughts without obeying them, to feel emotions without acting them out, to become steady. That steadiness will change your entire life. Because once you are steady, you become very hard to manipulate. And when you are hard to manipulate, you become free. Now let's talk about relationships. Some of you over-explain because you are afraid of losing people. You think if you communicate perfectly, they will stay. But the person who truly cares does not require a courtroom speech. They require honesty, simple honesty. I feel this, I need that. This matters to me. This doesn't work for me. And then you watch their response. If they respect you, they will meet you. If they dismiss you, they will reveal themselves. And you must have the courage to accept that. Because over-explaining is often a way to keep someone who is already gone. You keep talking, hoping the words will build a bridge. But some people are not on the other side waiting. They are walking away. So stop building bridges to people who are committed to leaving. Build yourself instead. Silence helps you build yourself because you stop begging for love. You start becoming love. You stop asking for respect. You start respecting yourself. You start chasing closure. You start closing the door. Now understand this. Silence is not passive. Silence is active discipline. It's a decision. It's a stance. It's a spiritual posture. It says, I will not waste my life arguing with shadows. Let me give you a simple rule to remember. If someone asks a question to understand, speak. If someone asks a question to control, be silent. If someone seeks clarity, give clarity. If someone seeks power, give silence. Because when someone seeks power over you, words are the food. The more you talk, the stronger they get. The less you talk, the weaker they become. That's why your silence is dangerous. Remember this, you don't need louder words. You need deeper stillness. You don't need to win every conversation. You need to protect your mind. When you stop explaining yourself, your life stops being a performance and starts becoming a practice. If this message reached something inside you, don't rush past it. Sit with it today. Test it the next time you feel pulled into noise. Choose silence once and feel how much power comes back to you if you want. More teachings like this calm, disciplined, real support this path. Subscribe, stay with the practice, and walk this journey with us. And if this helped you, share it with one person who is tired of being pulled into arguments they never wanted. Sometimes the strongest help is giving someone permission to be silent.